first, let's start off. Just talk about the season going into conference and how that was for you guys. I know you guys had a 5th place finish, and I think it was at the Rice Intercollegiate. But how was the season going for you guys, and what was your mindset going into conference?
Yeah, I actually went through I kind of looked back over the whole season, and it brought back some really good memories. And just so you guys know, we continue to talk about stories that started from this whole year often in our current, the current team and over the years. So, but I think if you think back on how the whole year went, it was kind of up and down. It wasn't like our best year. We didn't play great in the fall. We played a banner schedule, though. We were all over the place. Southern Miss, we played Colorado State, LSU. We went to Kiawah Island and played the Ocean Course. All that.
Yeah, with the 66. Yeah.
That was savage, dude. That was what a round. Holy cow.
And then in the spring, I mean, we were on East Coast, West Coast in the spring. We started out at the Rice Intercollegiate, and then we played the Bayou City. So back-to-back home events for us. And then
we went to Squire
Creek.
Squire,
remember that?
yeah.
It was
the
like
most miserable golf tournament ever.
Oh yeah,
God.
I remember that one.
when JJ left me at the golf course.
Yeah. When Landon and JJ almost got in a fight. Oh,
No, it was kind of fun at the conference championship, right?
Oh yeah, that
That
too.
too, yeah.
It
was
became a
snowing.
typical thing. Yeah.
Remember warming up.
I can't remember.
That one had a few stories. James Lee had a
Yeah.
story at Squire.
Well, that was my
Dude,
job
no,
was to toughen you
don't
guys
bring it
up a
up.
little bit.
Oh, God.
It seemed to pay off,
I just remember Landon.
especially James over there.
I went up to
Dude,
Landon.
and his massages, man. He'd always be out there on the side.
The
Just
massages.
yeah, the massage at Abandoned Dunes. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
never got one of those.
Oh,
What?
So
Yeah.
I found out I have a herniated disc in my neck. It goes out all the time now. So that was just the early stages, apparently.
man,
Yeah, going back to the season, I kind of remember the same thing that Coach had mentioned. It was kind of up and down. We'd have some good finishes, like at Golf Club of Houston, and then some bad ones, I think, at Vandy. We didn't play too well, and then there was a couple others. But it seemed like everybody had a good tournament at least once or a couple times.
Well, I
through it.
wasn't at Bandon, so that's probably why y'all. So,
Fair enough. But yeah, conference, we all just kind of came together, and it was kind of the perfect storm, which was fun to be a part of, obviously.
I felt like all of our practice leading up to conference was really what made us play well. Like, I remember that the end of that semester, I don't remember us like really practicing. I just remember us playing matches against each other over and over and over and over. And I feel like that brought us all together and like really made us all push each other and like believe in each other. So I feel like that was kind of a big catalyst.
but not to toot JJ's horn, but I think when JJ came in, I feel like at the beginning of the year we had we didn't know really how good we are, and then JJ came in, he didn't have any of that stuff for us. So I feel like we all kind of decided as a group that we weren't going to kind of fall into the expectations a lot of people had for us. I think JJ had a lot to do with that, especially my freshman year. I remember he kind of just brought a little bit of no-nonsense attitude towards all of us, which I think helped for sure.
I think what I noticed from the beginning of the spring semester to the end was like the player, like you guys were a lot more competitive, and whether it's a good thing or not, we kind of jabbed at each other a lot more. Me and Landon almost fought a few times, but like when I got there, because I've been on, now 4 college teams as a coach or a player, and the talent level wasn't any different from like a 25th ranked team in the country. It was more like your belief in yourself. And I think by becoming more competitive, and sometimes like James would get mad at me, but talking crap to him, I think it toughened. He started beating me. He beat me at Bandon Dunes, remember? And then he got all around the world, and he still talks about it. So,
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the Golf Week article that came out at the beginning of the spring?
Oh yeah.
I felt like that was a motivational thing. It said that
Kevin cut that out and put it above his bed, like. On
What did that article say again? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it said, well, it had mentioned that for like freshman of the year that I had potential to win freshman of the year, but then in terms of like overall, it was like, but the Rice Owls have no chance of winning like the team title. So yeah, so I had cut it out and I had put it on my dresser. And same thing with the rankings too. I had printed out the rankings and kind of kept track of that like every week.
So Justin, I would say, like, in my perspective, and I wasn't there nearly as long as you, but like the difference maker was kind of Tommy. Like, you know, he wasn't really playing top 5, and then all of a sudden he almost wins conference, but he got steadily, because you had other good finishes that spring, and you're getting better every tournament. So I thought that without like, so because the 4 of you kind of played top 5 regularly, right? And then Tommy kind of was a top 3 player, you know, we found a 5-man, I guess, but he was playing like 2.
It was the Ryan effect.
He was invited to the call. He might have been different.
No, I don't mean to throw him under the bus like that, but yeah, that definitely helps.
I'm still folding socks in the pro shop, just like he said too.
Yeah.
No, Tommy, you really had that spring was, you know, you really led the show there. I mean, it seemed like for your last 2 years, the spring you played your best, and for some reason you couldn't quite get it jump started in the fall. But once the spring season hit, it was almost like this is when it really matters, and that's when you really stepped up.
Yeah,
it was the hook chip too, for sure.
Oh yeah,
the hook chip. That was that made my success for sure. When I had success, the hook chip was either on or it wasn't on.
Like every bad tournament, every tournament that Tommy beat me at, he'd take me to the putting green and he'd give me these random tips, and it always ended up with like hook putt. Like I had to bend my right elbow. I had to give it. Oh, dude, he won the series so easy that year.
Good thing Tommy didn't beat you every week, then you'd be all messed up.
Yeah, no, you're right. He was like sabotaging me. He like deliberately gave me these tips.
God, this freaking thing.
That's why I only beat you that one time at Bandon Dunes, JJ. Tommy's holding me back.
Yeah. It looks like Jesus now. Tommy Fleetwood, Jesus all in one.
Yeah.
Every year for Halloween, I'm Jesus. It does never fail. I get the most, like, I get so many girls who come up to me and they're like, "Whoa, your costume is just sick."
Looking at your spring schedule, from the start of spring, you guys were playing almost every week. But then before conference, you had 3 weeks off. How much of that, like, did that kind of like recharge you guys? Or how much of that do you think went into how you guys play?
Well, I think kind of what I was saying earlier about us really having all those competitions, I feel like it gave us an ability to like take what we learned from the year and then like all really come together and like push each other in order to like beat each other, but also make everyone better. So I feel like that 3 weeks allowed us to really get competitive, even though we weren't playing events, but keep ourselves competitive and then ready to go.
I could be wrong, but
compete.
we had our lineup set before that 3 week period, right? We knew who was going, and I think if I remember correctly, I think we did, and that helped me out a lot, because I feel like since we didn't have qualifying like Landon was saying, we were just playing with each other every day, and there wasn't so much trying to beat each other as it was trying to compete against each other, which is kind of, I feel like, got us all ready to, I don't know, not feeling like we had to be nervous about qualifying or nervous about making the team. We just kind of were focused on getting ready and kind of building the team, kind of pushing it towards the start of the tournament, which was a little different than the rest of the year. I feel like the lineup was set a lot in the spring, but we did kind of change in and out, so we still had to kind of be on top of it. But
and then I don't know if you guys remember, but before conference at Westwood, there were some days where the weather was pretty bad. And I think we got a couple days at Westwood where it was blowing like 30 and we were still practicing. So I guess we didn't realize it before the tournament, but I think that helped a lot because obviously the conditions in Oklahoma were just insane. And so getting those reps when it was blowing like 30, 35, I think that was a.
Do you remember
big thing.
before Ben and Dunes? I think it was James. I was telling you how windy it was going to be, and then we
Yeah.
get there. It's the only days of existence that didn't have wind. It was like, see, you always exaggerate.
That was like the best weather
JJ.
tournament ever.
Do you remember we worked out in the Oklahoma gym like before we showed up at the actual
it was
or
just you and I.
Texarkana? Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
was
like
you and I and JJ. It was an awesome day.
we like made passes to go in there. Me and James put in a big workout. I remember
Yeah.
the next day Tommy was like, "You're an idiot." Because I woke up, my armpits were sore, and Tommy was like, "God damn."
Well, I
But yeah,
think you
we-
shot
That was
the
that
day you
69
won
the
that
last
day
round.
before, so we had to get you.
Yeah.
there.
I
mean, I
also
tried-
remember.
We went to the golf facility too. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the tournament before conference at Vandy, I feel like all spring we were trending upwards, and then that tournament was like a big disappointment.
Yeah.
And
It was
I
a
feel
big
like
call.
we were pissed. I feel like there was like just a pent up anger. I at least remember being personally very disappointed with that tournament. I feel like we felt that as a group, and like
Yeah.
Was that
Really-
right before conference?
That was
Yeah.
the one right before
That was
conference.
right before.
we were
Okay.
really looking forward to to a redemption shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Bad
agree.
taste in our mouths, which I think had some extra motivation.
I agree.
Conference.
Also, along the lines of what Al was saying is that we had the lineup set. And I don't know if you guys remember, but throughout the whole spring, we kept riding United. Like we kept flying out of Bush and riding
Yes.
United. And then I remember the one time we went to Colorado, they like lost our clubs and stuff. So then for conference, since we had the lineup set, we got to fly out of Hobby and Southwest. I think
Yeah.
that superstitiously that
That
made a
was
big difference.
definitely a difference maker, James.
Yeah, that was huge.
Well,
James, are you-
I was thinking about a couple really cool memories that have been just stored up in my heart since that time. I think it was the night that maybe the afternoon or morning before the final round. Definitely the morning, because we went to. I guess it was a time where half of you guys went and worked out. The other half was with me, and so I think it was Tommy, and Landon, and we were having breakfast at IHOP. And Tommy kind of looked me in the eye and said, "I don't want this season to end." And I was like, this is a great moment. Like, he was so fired up to play that day or the next day or whatever it was. And it was just like, I was like, something great's about to happen here. And so it was just a really cool moment. And then from the actual event, the final day, Alex was the first out, and he posted that 69.
That was
And it was
unbelievable. That's a great round.
Such a great round. The win was
Best round of the tournament for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I don't know if JJ was with you the whole time or what, or maybe toward the end. But like when you posted,
thought he
I
was-
wouldn't have shot 69 if JJ was there.
yeah.
But what'd you say?
I couldn't have shot 69 if you were following me.
Yeah,
all
I
day.
think I got demoted to James after his 81.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
you did.
JJ.
You did. Yeah.
I had JJ over my shoulder. I was so nervous. He was telling me to hit it harder on the greens.
Oh no, James, don't even talk about that. So, since
We were in the first wave, so we had to wait, an hour and a half or so just to see what was coming in. And the weather was just not good. And I remember when we walked up to the 18th green, I'd come up with Kevin, and he was the last one in. And the Middle Tennessee coach looked at me and he said, "You guys are going to win." And I was like, "What? Really?" Like, because I didn't feel like we played that great that round, even though, I mean, you know what I mean? It just didn't seem like it was such a great round. But as we
Coach,
watched
what
our
would have
score-
happened if we tied? What would have been the format back then if we had tied with Middle Tennessee?
probably a 5-person playout, 5 and 5, right?
Yeah, split 3 of their guys with 2 of our guys, and 2 of our guys with 3 of their guys.
And then
And,
5 count 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, hole by hole.
But one thing I was thinking about is, the very next year we switched to match play as how you determine the team champion. And so the big complaint every single year from all the coaches is like, the best team doesn't ever win when we do match play. And so here we were playing stroke play against the 18th ranked team in the country, UAB at the time, and we won. Right. So that means we're the best team in the tournament. Right. Doesn't it? I mean, according to that complaint that I hear every year from our coaches about match
Yeah.
play.
And it was cool because when I transferred from Birmingham Southern, and I used to practice with a lot of those UAB guys. So it was cool, like transferring to Rice and then beating them in the conference championship. That was, at least for me, it was a little added element of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I remember also the game changer for Alex, especially, was the first round where I had the putt that was like hanging on the edge.
Oh
yeah.
That just fired Alex.
That turned everything.
I took the extra stroke just to motivate you. Just so
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
Oh, I was walking with you. Remember, Tommy? Wasn't I walking with you? And
I was heated about that.
Yeah, Canal was like, no.
That was ridiculous.
So
Tommy, tell the story. Tell the story. What happened?
Yeah, tell the story.
It could have been 8 seconds. It could have been 11, but nobody was counting. In fact, that he wanted like it went in. Like,
yeah.
Tommy, tell the story. Tell the story.
Yeah, it was like the hole. It was that hole. It was like a slight dogleg right on the back nine.
It was on the front.
It was the front nine. You're right. I think it was number 5.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the slight dogleg right with like the water that was just
after the par 5, I think.
What?
After that par 5 that goes up the hill and then you come back, right?
Exactly. After the par 5. Anyways, I hit the green, and I have like 15 feet for birdie or something, and I hit the putt, and it's like I think it was on the right front edge, and I couldn't believe it didn't go in, but it like was hanging there, and it was hanging on wind, like. So the wind, I mean, I had like a natural reaction to it. I was like, oh God, whatever.
Yeah, it did sound real dramatic. I think that's what made it go in.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely wasn't in a rush to get up there and tap it in, but I didn't think I was being extra.
7 seconds, but the fact that someone was saying it was over 10 seconds, like I don't. So we really won by 2. Or how many did we end up winning by 1?
We won by 1. So it went in.
So we really won by 2.
Was that the first round, Tommy?
It was you and Canauer watching. So anyways, we decided as a group that we'd figure it out at the end. So then we're counting our scores, and I like tell the rules official about it, and he's like, okay, like you guys have to like make a decision as a group. And so like one guy in the group was like, all right, I think that should be like a birdie. Like I think you deserve the birdie. The UTSA guy in the group was like, no, like you deserve the par. So then the rules official's like, all right, Tommy, it's up to you.
Tommy's like,
I can't believe you took par.
I was like,
why did you say par?
I think I'll take the par.
I was bad.
Really
I was like, no,
upset.
Tommy,
Really
we've toughened you up this semester.
Yeah,
like, you guys
JJ
for
was
yourself.
pissed,
I was mad. I was like, no.
Yeah, JJ.
I wouldn't do that to a different player if it was like that, like on another team. But
Tommy,
you believe in karma.
But I think if I took the birdie, I don't think we would have won. Alex was the X factor.
Yeah. I needed that, Tommy. I needed that. You're right. I needed it. Was that first round or second round that happened? It was the first one, wasn't it? Yeah.
I
was just coming off 81.
Yeah,
I was coming off 81. I wasn't having any of that. I was like, Tommy,
hey, Alex, do you think you're miserable? Yeah. Try walking with a player that's shooting 81. It's worse. Isn't it worse to watch 81 than to shoot it? Like you're just
it's your fault for walking all 18 holes if someone's shooting 81.
I don't give up, Alex. So yeah, I'm in there with you. And you're like,
oh man,
what is going on here? I don't know how to help.
I didn't know either, man. I was lost.
That 69 was something else, though. That was.
But y'all forget the best. I was more impressed with my next day. Wait, it was 3 days, right?
69 was the last
round.
That's what I was gonna say. My 71, which I shot the next day, and I felt I felt good the morning I woke up. I just felt like I was gonna shoot a good score of the 69. But the next day when I woke up, I was just coming off 81. You guys had posted a pretty good round, so I was thinking like we're never gonna win this unless we have 5 decent scores to pick out of. And that day where I feel like I grinded harder and I didn't hit as many good shots, but to shoot 71 the way I hit on that day was to me the better day of golf, just in terms of kind of getting into the the clubhouse. It was a rough day.
Hey, did we beat that school at regionals? Remember you guys were debating who'd win in a fight, the one coach versus
I was
like, how about we just beat their team on the golf course? This is really
We're like, who would JJ take?
No, the next year. So the next year when I was at Ohio State, we get paired with South Florida, and one of the kids from that team was on South Florida. He was like really good. I think he had
Yeah,
been
yeah.
Oh,
I think
dude,
he
who was
transferred
that
over, yeah.
guy? Rigel
Bethune
Fernandez.
Cookman, was that the school?
Bethune Cookman, yeah.
Yeah, the coach
My
had the blue
sister
chip
goes.
thing in his ear with the diamond earrings. Remember that? You don't remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. You remember the sushi dinner we got afterwards? Was that conference, right? That was
That was
conference.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that was conference. Yeah.
That was
That
awesome,
was great.
dude. That was
When we
great.
had the trophy there with us.
in like in the
Oh,
middle of
God,
like this random little town too. It's like this
Yeah.
really nice sushi spot.
Sushi in Oklahoma.
Yeah, we were pushing our limits there. Sure.
Going into the final round, I mean, you guys were tied for fourth, but you were 6 shots back. What was the feeling among the group going into that final day? Was there thinking we can do this, or what was it just go out, play your game?
I don't think there was any pressure really. I mean, 6 shots is a lot, so we kind of had the mentality of just going out there doing the best we can. And I really didn't put it together that we actually had a shot until the very last hole when Coach Emil came up to me. And just walking down the fairway, he's like, yeah, we're up 1 right now. And I was just like kind of in shock, couldn't believe it, because I don't think UAB was leading, but they were in second. And like Coach had mentioned, they're the number 18 ranked team in the nation. And so to think that we were going to come 6 shots back against a team like that,
Thank you.
I don't think
you
you can expect that. But
Don't interrupt.
conditions were tough, played in our favor. We played
Alex
well.
is
And
getting a
so
delivery.
That's my mom. She wanted to say hi.
Yeah, this is lovely.
Sorry, guys. All right. Sorry to interrupt, Kevin.
Kevin, take us through your last hole
Yeah,
after you
take
heard
it
that
through.
nuke. Whoa, were
well,
you
I
nervous? Were you?
mean, first of all,
and that hole sets up awful for you.
I was just about to say that's probably the worst setup hole for Kevin Riley, like on the history of like the entirety of the planet.
What about Southern Miss, Hattiesburg Country Club number 6?
That's a tough one too. Yeah, those two are pretty equal.
Do they have like a trick
I
right or something?
Hattiesburg is just
you
like
can't draw it
both
on
sides.
Hattiesburg, you probably just go under that tree on the right, right? With like a
Yeah, I either had to hit it low or I had to like try and somewhat hit just a straight ball.
So
I've
like
had
just
Philly
a
for
10-yard
2 years
draw.
twice lately.
But
gotta
yeah,
like
so
can't keep it in play.
18's this hole with trees on the right. I hit this like massive draw. And so it's a really tough hole, out of bounds on the left. So final hole of the tournament, I hit my drive and it clips a tree. I probably hit the drive like 100 yards. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. Hit my shot into the fairway to about 100 yards. And then as I'm walking there, that's when Coach tells me that we're up 1. And so I'm thinking like stressing even more. I'm like, oh God, I'm about to make bogey. I'm about to screw our team over. And so my wedge shot, I got really nervous, duffed it a little just to the front edge of the green, and then luckily got up and down for bogey. And so coming into the clubhouse, I was just really pissed, really upset. I don't know if you guys remember, but I was at lunch and just like did not say a word because I was sick to my stomach.
I kind of remember that, yeah.
Because like all we could do is just wait for UAB and the other teams to come in. But
I don't remember us eating.
Yeah,
I remember us eating.
I just
Freaking
remember
out.
the-
We were like half eating, half freaking out.
So
Wait,
I don't
no,
think all of
because
us
me
were
and
there.
Then we're down at the score table, and you guys were up hitting balls, getting ready for.
Yeah, didn't we go get hit balls?
Yeah.
I was at the scorer's table for a long time.
Yeah, we went up. I went up. What was it? James, Tom,
Or wait, no.
Alex. Did we? Who all dogpiled? I feel like we're missing someone.
It was
Yes,
me,
we were
No,
missing Tommy.
right? That ran over.
Yeah, no, it was Tommy and Alex ran over.
Okay.
Like my
okay.
mom has like pictures and videos of it.
We were
Yeah, I just remember Kevin like pushed me down real quick. I hit the deck real quick.
You
All I
did.
could do was keep
You
it-
did.
Yeah,
You're-
and then I
you're
threw an
top
elbow
heavy, so-
just because you wouldn't know it was me.
I had that picture.
Landon, you got to
So-
send me those videos. I want to see
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, I
We
will.
gotta have those. We gotta have.
I had that picture your mom took, Landon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great picture.
I
Like,
somehow
I've seen
only
the
have one
picture.
picture.
Oh, it happened.
Can y'all see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah, that's a
that.
good
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the
That's a
ground.
good one.
So back then, golf stat wasn't as good, I guess. So I was just staring at the scoreboard for like 35 minutes waiting for these scores to come in. And then I remember when the final score came in, it was Paul Dunn, who played few years later at the British Open and still playing professionally. Came in with
He's
like
on the European tour.
77.
Yeah, didn't he make like a quad on that long par 3 over the water that was like straight into the wind?
That hole was brutal.
Brutal. It was like
Oh,
4-iron for like
goodness.
150 yards.
That hole was
brutal.
I
I think I hit 3-wood at one point.
I think you did, and just hit it like over the back of the green.
Yeah.
Hitting that green was like, oh my gosh.
Well, because it was so narrow too, from front to back, you just
Yeah.
couldn't stop it. So, but yeah, I just remember being on the driving range, hitting some balls, just expecting a playoff possibly, and then just seeing Tommy and Alex running over from the scores tent, just knowing it was over. I think of that moment all the time, and it just brings a smile to my face.
For sure.
You know, on the flight back, you know, usually typically you take the scoreboard home with you and, you know, frame it, post it somewhere.
Oh man.
James Lee and Trey Johnson
We
confiscated the scoreboard.
we
They
had
had
it at our
it for
house for the
2
longest
years.
I remember that.
Sorry.
I finally
Trey.
had to like threaten James to
I'm
bring me
sorry.
the
We
scoreboard.
were like,
Did
we almost wanted to use
did
it.
y'all
as
know he
a
had it,
couple
Coach?
times,
Did you guys
too.
know that
Yes.
James and Trey took it? Oh, okay.
I asked him, I would ask him for it, and he would just like say, "Okay, I'll bring it by," and he just never bring it by.
No, it'd be a combination of like,
That is
"Oh, you
such
gotta
a
check with
James Lee
Trey."
Yeah.
Such a James Lee move.
A couple of times, Trey and I were like, well, if we really need something from Coach, we can just tell him, like, come over, pick up the scoreboard, and then just drop it off. Trey's like, I really need golf balls. I was like, "Here, just don't lose these ones again."
Yeah.
With James, I don't know if you guys remember after the tournament. So we do the dog pile. We have the ceremony, get our trophy, and then we go into the locker room to just get ready
dude,
to
Kevin.
leave.
Oh my,
And
this story
James
is
Lee
brutal.
is just being so loud, and he's like,
Oh,
I think he
dude.
might have been in
Yeah.
the shower. We were all like
Yeah.
showering in the showers.
James and Tommy
next
were
to
in the
each other,
shower
and
next to each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
and James is just like, guys, I can't believe we won. We beat UAB. And
dude,
UAB is just like waiting outside the shower, waiting to get
dude,
in.
no, Kevin, before you say that, Tommy's like, he's in the shower next to me. He's like, dude, those guys choked.
It was so bad. I was like, guys, shut. I was so embarrassed.
So bad.
Yeah, that was not great.
I remember that they were happy for us. Like they kind of knew that we didn't know. I remember that whole
Yeah.
thing. They talked to us a little bit afterwards. They knew we were just couldn't contain ourselves. But yeah, we were pretty brutal about it right next to them.
Excuses.
They're super nice guys too. Pretty much all
Yeah,
the
they
guys
were.
in that team.
Yeah, those are nice guys.
Kevin, didn't you have like a 5 under through 3 stretch in this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, you
Was that
think
to
about
start
like,
the tournament?
yeah.
We started
So-
on 10, and you could drive the green.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I
just
remember
with
that.
the
It's like
wind,
4 feet.
with the wind, 10 was downwind. I forget how far it was. It might have been like 350, but you had that bunker in front, and it
Yeah.
literally rolled through the bunker, rolled up, and I had like 4 feet for eagle on the first hole.
We started on 10. Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
eagle 12 too?
And then so 11 dropped like a 25 footer for birdie, and then 12 dropped like a 30-foot putt for eagle. So first 3 holes of the tournament, 5 under through 3, and then the next 2
Oh,
holes were
God.
brutal. You had that par 4 that was like straight into the wind, pretty narrow, and then the par 3, and I think I went double and bogey right after that. So it gave me ended up shooting even for the round, but
That par 4 after the par 5 was it was a sneaky hard hole.
yeah, no, for sure. And so
remember
I mean, we always talked about it. Like everybody thinks, you think of the final round and what you did on the final round to kind of cost you a tournament. But going back to that one, I mean, the first 3 holes of the tournament, kind of shooting eagle, birdie, eagle helped us win in the end. So
Yeah.
every hole counts.
Good start
Hottest start in tournament history.
in golf history. I don't know if I've never done anything close to that.
No.
I'm sure somebody's done it.
So
I'm still waiting on an eagle.
Yeah, that's true.
let me rewind the tape just a little bit, because we, if you go back to the Rice Intercollegiate, before the final round, I don't know if you guys remember or not, but James Reagan had been a member of our team,
Yeah, I remember that.
and he died.
Yeah.
He had died the night before of cancer, and so it was sort of like the very start of our spring, and we had this moment where a guy that was a teammate with most of you guys, and someone that had a really compelling story about his battle with cancer and everything. And I think that one memory that really is stitched in my mind is we had this moment of silence at Westwood right before we teed off. And, there's that Highway 59 that just is always howling by Westwood. I don't remember hearing any noise at all. You had, 140 college golfers and coaches. And we had this moment, and it was just like dead calm and silent for the first time ever out there. And, so it was one of the things I really remember well from that year.
Big Al killed it. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
it didn't end the way we
Until-
wanted it, but
Oh yeah.
Playoff, right? Was there a playoff?
No, Coach. Remember, I started on hole 3, so I came through with a 1 or 2 shot lead with par 5 1 and 2 to play. You started walking with me. I hit it. My second shot on 1 was like a few yards off the green. I ended up like duffing my shit, made par there, and then I bogeyed the last hole, and the kid birdied it, and that was it.
Wait, you won? You tied?
No, I was up by 1 or 2 with 2 to go, and it was a 3-shot swing with 2 holes. So I lost. I parred 1. I think he birdied 1, and then he birdied 2, and I bogeyed 2, and it was over.
So you got second in the tournament?
I think I tied for second after it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I choked pretty hard. Yeah. But it was fun. It was a fun tournament, especially playing
Yeah,
well at
still,
Westwood.
that's still epic.
and then you played well at
Yeah,
Golf
we're
Club
bringing
Houston
back the
too,
rights
Al, right?
tournament.
I don't know. I don't know. I think no, maybe. No,
Because I thought you were setting up a Levy Hostler matchup in the final round, and then
I
you might
think
have
I
like
was.
bogeyed the last
that one
hole.
wouldn't have ended well. That would have been that
No.
one would have made Golf
Yeah.
Channel.
Yeah.
Brawl breaks out.
Yeah.
In the middle of playoff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that was the first conference championship in 75 years for Rice. So it was a pretty incredible accomplishment for you guys, something to be obviously there's some really good memories from that year and from that tournament. But I appreciate, the memories that you guys have provided for me and being able to share that with other guys and who all are having the same hopes and dreams that you guys have had during your college career. And it just was truly one of my most favorite memories in all of my coaching career, even my playing career. It was so much fun.
And
So, yeah,
I think
Go ahead.
I think something also that was pretty cool about that semester was, obviously the circumstances around it weren't the best, but having to do not having to, but like us doing the community service in the beginning of the year, I feel like really helped bring us together as a team and kind of allowed us like have a greater sense of gratitude and like the ability to give back. And I feel like that was something that helped us play better later on in the year and helped us like build that team togetherness.
And we had
Yeah.
Landon. So with Landon, it was helpful having a good leader with Landon. To all seriousness, I feel like my freshman year we had a lot of good leadership, which helped us during some of the bad times and then got us to the peak at the end. So I think not enough to be said about this. Yeah.
Sure.
In terms of work ethic, Landon is cream of the crop. So
Yep.
Thanks,
Good time.
I still have dreams in my head. I'm like, there's dreams. I'm like, oh, that's Landon practicing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Newsflash, he's still working hard. He's still practicing.
Tommy went
Good enough.
from the Ryan Benavides plan to the Landon plan by the end of the semester. That's probably different.
Yeah,
I was
for
losing
sure.
it on you, Tommy. I was like, dude, you got to get away from him.
Landon, I can't see a Bobby Grace putter without seeing your face. Anytime I see one of these Bobby Grace players, I'm like, oh, it's Landon. Where is he? Oh, man.
The Nobby Grace.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
man.
heavy putter, man.
Trash.
I think like when you're a college golfer, or we're kind of selfish, we play an individual sport, but now you can appreciate, like, if you would have won the conference individually, we wouldn't be having this call, right? But my college coach told me when they won the national championship, like, they have a certain connection they couldn't explain because we didn't win anything great as a team when I was there, but I get it now with like what Bryce did. You're kind of connected with the team victory. You kind of always reflect back on that, where it's more than just winning an individual, tournament.
Sure.
But I just wonder if you guys kind of see that now, or if you saw that then. Because I know me as a college golfer, I was a little bit more, selfish. When I became a coach, I understood like the team is more important,
Yeah, I think that semester, the final semester, was the first time I really ever like actively rooted for my teammates. Like it was always just like I was just playing for me, and if everyone else played well, great. If not, like it doesn't really affect me.
Yeah.
But like that semester, I just have a like remembrance of really like cheering for everyone, like asking coach like what's he at, like really rooting for him, and like how do we get better moving on. And but yeah, the team aspect of it definitely
Well,
makes
it's really
it
my
significantly more
golf
special.
career now consists of Twilight Golf League on Thursday nights, and I actually
How old are you?
we're undefeated. So we have 2 beginners and 2 scratch or better. We're undefeated, and the beginners complain about how bad they did. I'm like, it doesn't matter. We won. Like we got our streak going still. So,
Yeah, no, the team thing's special. I mean, I'll remember it forever because of, like you said, JJ, because it's a team accomplishment. And like, I feel like we'll always have this to talk about or to reflect back on. Definitely a special thing. Much more special than an individual kind of thing where you're just,
yeah, well, you can share it with your friends and guys you went to college with for 4 or however many years, because you guys are different years. But
yeah.
it's a lot more special with the team because it's in the university too. I mean, it's you as an individual,
I just remember after just realizing I had kind of expected to make regionals as an individual, but when I realized that I was going to go with all you guys as a team, I was so happy and so excited to do that, to go as the team rather than just go by myself. So that experience was something special going to regional. I know Landon was pretty happy that he got to miss graduation.
Oh, I was pumped. I still have the pictures of me in my cap and gown on like the first tee at Lonnie Pool.
Yeah.
Remember that.
I think everybody, all of us by now have a lot of memories in golf, whether it be, junior golf, college golf. But I think, like Coach was saying, this is one that feels like kind of a full years of work kind of paid off for all of us. And we I feel like my freshman year, we kind of went through some ups and downs. And like I said earlier, we had great leadership. And I think it's definitely something that feels like more of a journey than just like we showed up to one event that was big. It feels like it was kind of the culmination of all of us kind of coming together after a full year. So definitely something that is at the